Guys, this is Daniel from iApologia, where science, reason, and Christianity meet. I remember recently I was on a plane ride, and I was coming back or going to speak at a conference where I was going to talk about how Christianity and capitalism has a strong link together, and socialism is quite anti-Christian. And so, which would be an interesting topic eventually to maybe talk about here again. I know I've talked about in the past, but today, though, I want to tell you about a story about a woman I met on the plane. I was on the plane and we got a discussion about where we worked or what we're doing, where we're going. And I don't recall everything that she said and everything I said, but what came up was what I was doing. So I started explaining what my goal was, where I was going, what I was speaking about. And as we were talking, she was interested, but then she started getting pretty agitated and upset and annoyed about the things that I said. And eventually she started arguing with me in more of a controlled way. And then she got really tired, and so she leaned back and went to sleep, and she didn't really want to talk more about the topic because it seemed to really grate against her worldview and how she looked at the world. Fortunately, I had a guy on the other side of me who really wanted to talk about the topic, so we talked about that and things that he enjoyed talking about, and so it was quite an interesting discussion on the way home. But besides that, it was just an interesting talk because as I was talking to her, something struck me is that there seemed to be a connection between the Democratic Party and her atheism, or at least agnosticism. I think she was an atheist, if I remember right. And it's kind of weird. But as I think about it, I think there is a link. Now, that's not to say that all atheists and all agnostics are Democrat. It's not to say that all Democrats are atheists or agnostic. But it does seem to be a logical link between the two. Now, today I want to talk about a video about another atheist. And this atheist's name is Hemant Meheti, and he is a YouTuber, and his YouTube name is The Friendly Atheist. And he gave a presentation recently on YouTube where he said that he gave 10 reasons why people are leaving Christianity. Now, I want to respond to those 10 reasons here. I'm going to be upfront. I won't get through everything, just because they are so many of them, 10 of them. And if I would talk about each one of them, I would be talking here for like an hour or so. But right now, I want to address 3 of those 10 reasons that he gave in this video, as you can see here. So these 10 reasons he gave were, the first one was the internet. This is the reason why people are leaving Christianity. The internet, politics, morals, hypocrisy, kids, science, sex, dating, friends, and rituals. Now, I'm going to only hit the first 3 here, as you can see, the internet, the politics, and morals. Why? Because these are very, very important. He seemed to take a lot of time on these 3 issues, along with some of the other issues as well. But for us, let's start addressing these and see what we come up with. All right. So the internet. So internet. When you go to the internet, he likes to talk about. He likes to criticize Christianity, especially. He seems to have a dear endearment in his heart against Christianity. He said. He gives this straw man arguments, which is quite embarrassing, especially for an atheist who's supposed to be a YouTuber. And he sounds like a nice guy and a fairly smart guy, but he tosses out the straw man argument, like complaining that Sunday school teachers just have a faith answer to kids who ask, why do Adam and Eve's in the paintings show that they have belly buttons? And I don't know. It's just a painting, no one took a picture of it. Like, why would that even be a question? And if a kid has a question, who would ever say just have faith? Have faith in what? There is no reason to have faith in that because there's no picture taken. It's just a straw man argument. It's the craziest complaint ever. Like, who would really complain about this thing? I just don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. See, what happens here is having instant access to the internet actually does not help the atheist as much as the Christian, because we have quick information to help quickly debunk atheist ideas and have answers to atheism. Plus, having instant access to the world's best arguments for Christianity and God. From the infamous ape-man to abiogenesis to everything coming from nothing, their arguments are like bunk. So the internet helps us to be able to have this instant access to quickly debunk their claims. That also shows that they are irrational. Their views are not default positions as they claim. It is an irrational position to be an atheist. Why do I say that? Well, if you just get an interaction with an atheist, in any, especially some of the contemporary atheists, the new atheists will reveal that they don't have a positive case for their view. A philosophical-minded friend of mine named Stephen McGrew, he's a agnostic, and he even points out that atheists are irrational. He says this, if one cannot give those reasons, then are they really justified to believe that God does not exist, or justified not to accept or reject God's existence? He says, no, it can't be justified. He goes on to say that holding to a position, even not believing God exists, is irrational if not justified. He then doubles down and says not believing God exists is irrational if unjustified. If you hold a position that is not justified, that is called irrational belief. Rational beliefs are positions that are justified. So if you can't justify your position, why you don't believe God exists, like give positive reasons why God exists, this is unjustified and thus irrational. Steve also slams another area where atheists like to claim, and he says this, some atheists claim, he says that the claim that some are atheists because they don't have sufficient reason to believe God exists, or that they don't have enough evidence to convince them. He says this is vacuous, and he adds later, those inherently are not justifications just because you don't think that you have good enough reasons. That's not evidence. That's not a rational argument. In other words, if you're an atheist and you do not want to carry the burden of proof, you are irrational, unreasonable. To be reasonable and rational, you do have to carry the burden of proof, because you're making a positive claim. The second reason he gives why kids are leaving Christianity, which I want to refute because I think Christians are actually hold the most rational position, is politics. You see, politics is driving people away from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is embarrassing. Atheists like Hammett seem to have married himself to the U.S. Democratic Party. He lumps atheism, interestingly enough, with the Democratic Party, and actually it fits quite well, as I said before. Today, the party itself promotes sexual immorality, which he does, promotes killing unborn human babies, which he does, and seems to promote socialistic policies, which he does too. Okay. However, remember that this is just 3 items that are immoral that the U.S. Democratic Party holds. Remember, historically, who was the U.S. Party? Who was the party of racism, antebellum chattel slavery, the KKK, the Jim Crow laws, the anti-miscegenation laws, and segregation? It was the U.S. Democratic Party. It remains the party of identity politics, including racial identity politics. So yes, it's still a racist party in that sense. So why would you want to be part of this party? It's going to push people away, you'd think. You see, Christians rightfully oppose the moral bankruptcy of the leftist secular worldview because it's bankrupt, it's immoral. Christians, and if they don't do this, they should be doing this because this is how the Christian worldview works, is Christians should marry themselves to Christian principles, not to people and parties. We know that people are fallen. Why? Because of our worldview. We say that people are fallen, we're broken, and they make errors and mistakes. We're sinful human beings, and we should not say, oh, this is the ultimate leader. We don't do that. That's the reason why we have this Republican type of government where you have checks and balances, because people can gain leadership and become immoral. So our focus is ideas, not individuals, principles, not people, precepts, not parties. Also, Christians have been promoting justice, freedom, and life for years. Christians are at the forefront of promoting these things. Authentic Christians oppose embryonic stem cell research. Why? Because it's not only been not successful, it also promotes killing unborn human babies, which is immoral. All the while we're against embryonic stem cell research, we're also at the forefront of promoting adult stem cell research. Why? Because not only it works, but it's also ethical. Christians are quick to oppose sexual immorality, promote fundamental Christian ideas, and promote the fundamental item that grounds civilization, and that's called the family unit. You see, If you are an atheist like Hamed and are quick to criticize others like Christians for their objective moral positions but have no objective grounding to guide one's values, who are you to judge? Who is he to judge? What authority does he have? His morals are groundless. He has no grounding. He has no foundation for his morals. He can never say that objectively that Nazism was evil, communism was evil, chattel slavery was objectively evil. You can't say that. Maybe you don't like it, but you cannot say it's objectively evil. You see, Christianity, however you look at it, is based upon a worldview or moral framework on the objective values of Jesus. If Jesus really is God, and if God sets the rules, then we should go by his objective values because he knows how we are made. And that brings up three items which atheists, and interestingly the secularists and the Democratic Party, seem to support. And those the secularists often support and celebrate sexual immorality, such as the acts of fornication, homosexuality, transgenderism. Why? These are immoral. These are, if you're acting out these feelings and doing them, that's immoral. Secularists often support and celebrate legalized murder of unborn human babies. This is called abortion. It kills innocent babies. This is murder, okay? Secularists often support and celebrate legalized theft, which is also called socialistic policies that forcefully take money from one person and give it to some other people, including the people who take it, by the way. You see, we hold these ideas because Jesus held these ideas. He was against sexual immorality. He was against murder. He was against theft. Jesus' ideas are our ideas. That's the Christian worldview. If atheists and secularists can't even get these simplest moral questions right, if they have no objective grounding, why would anyone ever trust their judgment on anything else? I don't know. Also, we have to remember that Christians changed the world. You see, Christians have been at the forefront of advocating for justice, goodness, honesty, fairness, and human equality. We're all human. We're all made in God's image, so we're all human. We all have value. We are a worldview or a worldwide organization of hospitals, orphanages, homeless missions, charities that are fighting hunger, homelessness, and sickness and poverty. For centuries, we have been at the forefront of fighting slavery, racism, sexism, and tyrannical governments. Christianity started the free market capitalistic system. We started the scientific enterprise. We started the hospital system. And the Judeo-Christian worldview grounds the judiciary system that we have in the West. Christianity has changed the world in a very positive light. Atheism has not. And why would anyone want to be atheist? For these 3 points, you wouldn't want to be. If you like this, feel free to like and subscribe. Check out my website at iApologia.com. Don't forget to follow me at both iApologia and Liberty Bomb on both Twitter and Facebook. Feel free to share this with your friends and family. You have a great day.